Hello and welcome to GG Weekend Watch, kindly sponsored by BetMGM, with myself, Dave Young, and Matty Sutcliffe, back with you to look forward to the action at Cheltenham and Doncaster this weekend. Now, hopefully the lads can keep the ball rolling, because oh my word, did they have a great time with things last week. Matty, you were back with us on last week's show and you really made it count. So just to go through those. Now, both of the lads' naps won as well. Dave's nap was Zambella, really well back before the off as well. Went off at evens. Not so sleepy. Went off at 9-1 in the end. Still the outsider of the field. Matty, of course, put him up about 50-1 though. Sonagino, 100-30. No, that was your nap actually, Dave, wasn't it? Sonagino was your nap then. And Le Patron at 16-1 as Matty's nap as well. So lads, very, very well done. Hopefully we can keep this ball rolling now as we kickstart at Cheltenham with the 1:15. Now, this is a handicap chase for 4-year-olds and over 2 miles. Calico and In Excelsis Deo are the 2-1 joint market leaders. 13-2 bar about the remainder. So, Matty, it only feels right. You should kick us off, please.
Yeah, well, I'll try and keep on the strong form, but listen, that's my luck for the next 10 years now out of the way, isn't it? So,
no luck in this game. We all know.
Yeah, it's a bit of an underwhelming event for the course, I'm honest with you. There's only the 7 runners. I'd like to take Calico on. I don't think on the new course he'll quite get the 2 miles on soft ground. It's more of a stamina laden course, isn't it? And he's been beaten over further twice, both times. Pace wise, Fernando Civilas likes to go forward, but again he's beaten 20 lengths, 15 lengths in his last 2 starts. Possibly one for the Grand Annual late down the season. Baron de Middleton, another one I like to go forward, so I do think it could set up for In Excelsis Deo over Harry Fry. Really eye-catching run last time out on the old course. Still a bit jumping novice as well, but stayed on strongly. I think this test on this course really suit. Form's worked out with Not Long Till May finishing. It was in 4th, finishing 2nd to Stage Star next time out, and Triple Trade has also shrunk the form since. Harry Fry could be in a little bit better form, but I do think you've got to get a winner from somewhere. So I'll go with In Excelsis Deo.
In Excelsis Deo, a great hymn as well. If you went to a Catholic school like I did, it was one of the many bangers that we had on the playlist. I don't know if you can call it a playlist in church, but that's what I'm going to roll with. Right, this is of course an each way plus race as well. 50 odds 1, 2, 3 with BetMGM. Dave, who wins it for you, and what's your favourite hymn?
I don't know about a favourite hymn. I was questioning whether this was a Harry Potter spell or something in Excelsis Deo, because I've never seen Harry Potter. I've tried a few times, but away from Harry Potter, it's Harry Fry. Yeah, I'm in agreement with Matty. In Excelsis Deo is the most, I was going to say obvious selection here, probably the most solid selection for sure. Form line of his run in the October meeting looks pretty good now, doesn't it? Because Triple Trade was finished in front of him, won next time out, beating Calico. Not Long Till May was behind, then finished 2nd to Stage Star in the Paddy Power. He's only up £1 for that effort. He's only a 5-year-old. He came, the run there was good ground, wasn't it? But I think first time he won his novice chase on soft at Hereford. So where the ground is at the moment, soft probably drying out, will be ideal for him. I think Calico and Oakenrisk both need quicker ground anyway. So although they're closest to him in the market, I think that's wrong. Finambald Savola, you've mentioned there are extended places with BetMGM. 7 runners in here. It's 6-1 you can get. I'm not sure if that's quite correct with the sponsors, but I think it's a general 6-1 plate. You can get first 3 places for those scummy each way betters. That's probably the way to do it, because he does need to recapture some older form. He's rated 150 now. Last couple of runs at Ascot, I know he's won there, but I just put a line through both of them. They haven't looked like they've really resolved anything. But last season he did something similar, didn't he? 3 bad runs, then went and won a Game Spirit at Newbury. That was a grade 2. This is a much easier contest. This is probably the easiest race he's run in a very long time. He has won once earlier in the season, like November, but most of his wins come from like 29th of December onwards. I think they are like February and things like that. So I can see him possibly being popular. I can see that as a little bit of a way in, but In Excelsis Deo just wins this 2-1 at the time of recording. Probably won't be about by the time this gets published, but if it is, GSI.
GSI. Get stuck in. Yeah, it took me a second. It took me a second to process what that was. 2-1 then In Excelsis Deo. Both of the lads agree. Yes, not a spell. We just had about a cadaver, didn't we? Just running at Taunton then in the same colours. That is a spell from Harry Potter, and that's the death spell. But yeah, In Excelsis Deo, very much a hymn for all you Catholic fans out there. Right, December Gold Cup time now. A Premier Handicap for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 4.5 furlongs at 150. Competitive as ever. Thunder Rock heading the way at 7-2. So Dave, I mean, I love these 2.5 mile Premier Handicap chases that we get at Cheltenham. Plenty of the same characters in this one. So who wins it?
Yeah, this is a beautiful renewal. I normally say filthy, I say dirty all the time, but this is a beautiful renewal. 2.5 miles, a decent handicap. It's early enough on the card as well, isn't it? Thunder Rock would have probably been my selection if you'd have asked me 4 or 5 weeks ago when he was sort of 6-7 to 1, but not necessarily saying wise guy horse, but like the price has caught up with him now. His chance is there for all to see. If you'd have asked me on Monday when Paul Nicholls said that Monmerle was coming here, I'd have said back Monmerle. But obviously we're recording on a Thursday. The market's been revised now. I am looking away from those, right? I'll loosely just say why I like Monmerle, right? I actually gave him an outside chance for an Arkle last year. He didn't run that bad behind John Bon on his debut. Look how good John Bon is. I know it's a very loose form, but he didn't show his best last season. Harry Cobden chose to ride Monmerle over Ridoto. I think that's quite telling, but I can't bet him. He's too short a price now. One that isn't too short a price, and I'm flabbergasted at, and I'm probably going to reel off a load of spiel now. I cannot believe that Fakir Doodlereed is 8 to 1 in here. We talk about graded horses in a handicap. This horse has never even run in a handicap. He's a multiple graded winner. I think he's won 7 graded races. 4 of them are grade 1s. He's officially rated 162. So while he wasn't at his best last season, he still achieved RPRs in excess of that figure twice last season. And you've only got to look at the horses that he's been running against to understand that he is a very, very good horse. I genuinely can't believe he's 8 to 1. He's been sent off 3, like in his last 5 grade 1s, he's been sent off favourite in 3 of them. The other 2 times was when he ran against Galloping Deschamps and Allaho. He managed seconds behind both of them. So again, I know it's all relative in a handicap, but none of these horses in here have possibly got a chance of getting within a sniff of horses like Galloping Deschamps and Allaho. They've deliberately kept him away from Cheltenham since 2021, I think was the last time he was seen here, when he was second behind Adder in that Ryanair, purely because people like me pitch him as like a grade 1.5 horse. Let's go for some easier options. And I know people will say it's JP McManus, they're probably plotting for something later down the line, but I don't think you can plot with a horse like Fakir Doodlereed. He always puts it on the line. First time up, I think he's won 3 or 5. The other twice he's come second. I remember when he won here in 2019 as a 4-year-old before he was bought by JP, when he beat Fine Brunello, well backed. He absolutely smashed home that day. Since then, right, he's been 4th in a Supreme as a 4-year-old, which is no mean feat. He was second in an Arkle, and then he was second behind Allaho in that Ryanair. Like, it doesn't, I didn't even need to say all that stuff, but he is just miles better than all these horses. Yes, he's got to give weight away, but we often talk about the graded horse in a handicap. Fakir Doodlereed's at 8 to 1, especially with extended places on offer. I think there's 4 places up for grabs with a lot of bookies. Is just like mind-boggling. This horse isn't tailed off. It's not like he's been in the decline and they just run in for the sake of it. He is there with every single chance, and I can't believe he's that price. So I think Fakir Doodlereed does. I think he goes very close to December Gold Cup. I think he can definitely win it, but at 8 to 1, there's no way he's not going out the places, and you can make a bit of money back in him each way. So Fakir Doodlereed's a very strong each way fancy, sort of oxymoron there, isn't it?
No, we can have those in this game. Trust me, I basically made a living on it. Each way plus race yet again with BetMGM, 5th for the odds, 1, 2, 3, 4. So even more reason then for a solid, strong each way play. 8 to 1 about the horse that is pushing a few of these out of the weights here, Matty, Fakir Doodlereed. But who did you like?
Yeah, similar thoughts to Dave in the sense that Thunder Rock's, he's almost a twit horse now, isn't he? You know, he's obviously well handicapped on that Mile of Mission form. That's all right, Gino form from last season. But part of me still thinks that he still does want further than 2 mile 4. Obviously, you look at Mile of Mission. He was staying on that day against That's All Right Gino. So he's really beating them horses over that distance, worthy of winning a race like this. And again, the favourites 0 from 10 the last decade as well in this race as well. So ideally, you want to avoid the top of the market. And yeah, Monmerle. Look, when I first looked, I think it was 16 to 1 on might have been Monday when the decks opened. And but 11 to 2 now, I just couldn't have that whatsoever. For all he is, arguably very well handicapped on that novice form. And I'm not as bullish as I am on Dave, but I did land on Fugitive, who really deserves to win a race like this. I mean, Connection said that he was lit up in cheap pieces last time out in the November Gold Cup behind Stage Star. And but look, he was still there. He's still there when they returned home, travelling really well. And yeah, just a combination of those cheap pieces lighting him up. Just so my dog's just barking in the back at the moment, just putting me right off. And then she's telling me not to back it, isn't she? But yeah, anyway, so I think although there's not an abundance of pace on, so that'll help him being a strong traveller, good jumper, and he also has the best RPR of these on the new course, 157, giving him £2. Well, second to Ridoto, giving him £5. Then second in the plate to Seddon as well, giving him £11. So he's he handles this course really well. He's won twice second up after a break, and he should be cherry ripe for this. And he deserves to get headed front as well. Richard Hobson, he's not had a Cheltenham winner, has he? So he really deserves this.
Oh, okay, like the case made. And yeah, we always listen to your pets. If your pets are trying to guide you in one way, always listen to them. Animals know best. I'm going to go against a pair of you two then here. So I actually was asked for a selection for this race a few weeks ago for an anti-post play, and Grande Dame was the one who I landed on at that point. However, I wasn't anticipating Fakir Dudery actually running in this. And of course he is, and he's pushing Grande Dame, therefore, out of the weight, which obviously isn't ideal by £3. So it's sort of swung me around to the second option here, and the one who I feel is the most obvious horse in this race. So it's interesting that Harry Cobden has decided to ride Montmoral, because Ridoto, he's just an absolute stalwart of these 2.5 mile Premier Handicap chases around Cheltenham. He's absolutely fine with the hustle and bustle. He gives his running each and every time. And last time out, he ran a really solid race when he was third in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. And that was third despite being hampered. And he just ran into 2 second season novice chasers who were graded performers last year. And the only concern I have with Ridoto, his running style in these races, you don't tend to see horses coming back to them from the front end. He's more of a mid-division type horse. And of course, he is without the claim of Freddie Ginjal as well. But he's been given £1 back for that run last time out, which I think is very fair. And Bryony Frost getting on board, I think the positive for that without the claim is that Bryony tends to ride her horses forwards. So I'm hoping he'll be more prominently ridden and he can just run his usual race in this type of contest. So loads of different selections for you to go at there as we move to Doncaster, heading north now for a 0 to 135 novices limited handicap chase for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 3 at 205. Serendipity, the 11 to 4 market leader here. But Matty, what's the play?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the market leader, Serendipity. Quite a poor turnout for a relatively decently priced Class 3 novice chase as well. Only the 9 winners, I think there was about 25 entered before declarations. But yeah, Serendipity for me, really good performance down the trip last time out. And I forgot, I think it was. £3 rise probably underestimates him as well. I mean, he was staying on really well, deep ground. And he was still quite novice in the earlier parts as well. He needed a couple of reminders, and he just stayed on really well. Jumping up the straight was excellent when needed. So return to this triple suit. And he has got quite a low action as well, low forward action. So I do think that the quicker drying ground at Doncaster will help as well. And Sue Smith as well. We all know Sue Smith's mantra by now. Look, she comes alive this time of year, doesn't she? December, January time. She just had another winner today as well, very close second. I think that's 5 winners from the last 7 runs, maybe 4 from 6. So they are in absolutely brilliant form. And yeah, and regarding the rest, I'm not entirely sure anything has the progressive potential of these lot. I think Mr. Who was second to Oxygen and Venetia Williams his last time out. And but yeah, Serendipity for me to back up the win from last time out.
Serendipity 5 to 2 then with BetMGM at the head of the market. Good case made by Matty. Dave, where were you looking?
I'm sort of looking away from this race, if I'm brutally honest. There's some good racing all over Saturday, isn't there? This would be a race I wouldn't want to get too excited about. I feel like it's a sort of a muddling race where you can make bits of cases for some, but it's hard to make a strong case for any. The Sue Smith angle is probably good enough to just warrant favouritism and Serendipity, but I'm a big fan of Harry Fry with his horses. He takes his time, he looks after them, and Deeper Blue has only run twice in like the last 1,000 days or however long it's been. Ran October 2022. Was last seen behind Sacré-Cœur. Pretty decent run, I thought that effort was. The run back in 2022 was behind Thunder Rock. We've obviously talked about that horse and how fancy he is. He was 9 to 2, second favourite, I think, that day behind him. Even further back in his maiden hurdle, bumped into Stage Star, didn't he? So there's like back form in there. This horse has never fulfilled its full potential. Obviously had some sort of issues, so that tempers enthusiasm. But you got to look at a race like this and think the novices, when they're going chasing, especially in the handicap chases, is that going to bring out some improvement in the horse, and have they got some margin in their mark? And I think this horse, given what he's run up against in the past, has the capability to be much better than 129. And I don't think he'd have to be much better than that mark to win this race. So I think he's about 8 to 1 at the time of recording. Be beautiful for like a nice little each way bet. And the fact that it's had a run this season from that long break I would imagine that they've obviously fixed the issues, given him a bit of time between the runs, and this wouldn't be the deepest of races for him to go into compared to what he's run against before. So Deeper Blue would be a selection, but it would be a tentative selection, but I'd still bet it.
Yeah. But like I say, we have got plenty of other races though with stronger convictions that we've all got for them. But yeah, that Doncaster race is a tricky enough one to really nail down that complete confidence selection. Right, back to Cheltenham for another Premier Handicap chase for 4-year-olds and over, but this time over 3 mile 2 at 225. So stayers to the 4. Broadway Boy is the 4-to-1 market leader. Protectorate though heads the weights off a mark of 165. So Dave, it's great to see these caliber of horses in these types of races, but who wins this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's an awesome one, isn't it? Like we said, we've got the December Gold Cup, which is exciting. Then you got this, you've got Broadway Boy, you've mentioned 300-3-5 back on the lash. That's one round here. Protectorate going back into handicap company. Like, this is as good as a feature handicap on a Saturday. So we're being spoiled. I would say about Broadway Boy and Protectorate, right? As much as I love Broadway Boy, and I do think he's definitely deserving favourite in here, I just think he's got a lot more on his plate in this race. The last time that he ran, I feel like it was an easy enough race in there. And I know Sam Twiston-Davies is back on board, so lots of people will see that as a positive. But when he deserted him the last couple of times, they were probably his better performances. So maybe it's a little bit too late for Sam. I do think he's got a proper chance, right? If he was like a 4 or 5-to-1 poke, I'd probably be betting him. He's 3-to-1 at the time of recording, but him and Protectorate are vying for favouritism, so it could move out. I would definitely say that Broadway Boy's got a chance. Protectorate, maybe not so much in my eyes. I don't think this horse really wants to step up to 26 furlongs. I think he wants to go back to 2.5. Maybe see him as like an outside chance for something like a Ryanair. We know that the Skeltons have had horses, haven't they, where they've run first time up and really needed the run. I'd still think that's a lot to forgive at Haydock what he did the first time up. So I couldn't be near him, but they're going to take up a lot of the market. I'm in a bit of a weird position with this one because last week in the London National, I thought Rapper was going to win, didn't I? They pulled him out. But they pulled him out of Chepstow as well, so we didn't get that sort of prep one in, and they've decided to run him here. Alice Stevens isn't on board. Richard Patrick is. Probably overthinking this, right? But they've done so well on New Year's Day. Are they running him this quickly because they want to get another run in before the New Year's Day? Or are they running him this quickly because he was going to win last week? So I'm erring on the side of that. I'm going with the confidence. He's 25-to-1 top price at the time of recording. Was a bit of 33 still about when those declarations had finally come in. But I think this horse is due a big run. I think he goes very well this time of year. My biggest concern in this race, though, is the fact that he's up against much faster horses than he would have taken on in that London National. So the likes of a Broadway Boy and Protectorate, I think he probably will get outpaced, and that makes me think he'll struggle. But I have to bet him, and I will be betting him next time out if he doesn't win this time. So Rapper is the selection. I think I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we're more than happy to. 20-to-1 then Rapper. Currently the outsider with BetMGM of the field as well. The conspiracy theories, we're trying to double guess with Rapper. It's going to be very entertaining to see how this unfolds, and on to New Year's Day as well for Dave. Matty, who did you like in this one?
Yeah, well, it is quite a trappy race, isn't it? It's a lovely race for a Saturday. Got 300-5, the Badger B a second. Melina Girl, City Chief with Thurston fourth, and the Juice and handicap last time out. We've got Easy as that. I'm actually really surprised hasn't gone for the Gold Cup in one. I don't think that one I want 3 mile 2. Airloose Mail back-to-back wins as well, coming on the hat trick. And but yeah, Protector, I really couldn't have him whatsoever. He's been well backed all morning. It was prime for the was it not the Charlie Hall? What was it? Sorry, the last time out.
The Betfair.
Yeah, Betfair. There we go. It was prime for the Betfair last time out, wasn't it? And look, Dan Scout said this is his Gold Cup, and it just looks so flat as a pancake. And I can't have him dropping it at handicap company off 165, giving I think it's £15 away to the field. And although there is no winning favourites again in the last 10 years of this race, so I'm hoping Broadway Boy either bucks the trend or doesn't go off as the SP favourite. As I'm just so impressed with him last time out, and the form's not been tested, but the way he won, the way he just kind of kept on going away, shaped like he really wants his 3 mile 2, especially on the new course as well. And obviously I know the form's not been tested, but if you go back to the form last time out, it was second to Florian Porter. Now Florian Porter, he didn't necessarily back that up next time out. He was beaten quite, I think it was 40 lengths by Favre Deschamps, wasn't it? But it gave three lengths away every fence jumping left. So he probably did, you can upgrade that a slight bit. And I just don't think, maybe bar Protector, I couldn't see any of these horses jumping the second last at Cheltenham alongside Florian Porter, if I'm honest with you. And so I do think that was a really good run. on this course last season, and of course Nigel and Sam Twiston Davis won this race twice in the last 10 seasons with Cogra, wasn't it? So there's yeah, I do think I just hope it doesn't go off favourite so we can book the trend.
That is a notable trend. I like that. So either he bucks the trend or doesn't go off his favourite. But yeah, I like that a lot. Then he is a super likeable horse, isn't he? Broadway boy, currently 4-1 at the time of recording. Now another different selection for you, another two in fact, because one who I just have to have a sneaky little play on, one of the outsiders of the field as well, back on the lash. I'm just so interested in this lad. He's getting the first time cheek pieces here as well. Whether or not that's desperation at this point, probably, but at least it might just give him that little bit more of a boot back at Cheltenham, and he is well treated clearly to be giving back or bouncing back to his better form. But the other one and the main play for me is going to be Easy as That, who is another one who ran in the Paddy Power Gold Cup last time out. So I'm hoping he's going to have the form boost earlier on at Cheltenham, but he was sixth in it, beaten 21 lengths, but he was never really cited. His hold-up style, I talk about it in those types of races, just didn't suit whatsoever, but he was making up a whole load of ground up the home straight in the closing stages there, looking like he wanted to step up in trip. Now, he's never even faced 3 miles before, let alone 3 mile too. But the way he has been shaping, I'm really excited to see what he can do over these extended distances now. And he did look potentially very smart last season and just shaped as though this will suit him. Now, he has been given a £2 back for last time out, but that does seem £1 wrong at the weight. But really, that's much of a muchness. The handicapper couldn't have given him back that anyway. So, yeah, Easy as That, my main play. Little saver on back on the lash because I have to at that price. But again, loads of different ways to play that race. Right, back to Doncaster now for a handicap hurdle. 4 3-year-olds and over 2 miles and half a furlong at 240. Plenty of smart performers set to line up in this one. Gin Coco, though, 4-1, the market leader. So, Matty, yet another really good race for us to go at.
Yeah, another good contest. I'm surprised Tommy's Oscar's still as big as he is at the moment. I know he opened up around 10s when the decks came out. And I know there was an article, obviously, I think it was on the race, wasn't it, where connections weren't too sure whether they want to go back over hurdles or they still debate whether he needs further. So it's a little bit of a negative, but I just think like it's the class horse in the race. He's he's built to carry weight. I think his record carrying top weight in the handicaps 3 seconds and 3/3, 3 seconds and 3 wins. He's 8 from 15 over hurdles, record in handicap hurdles 5 from 8, and I just think he's a classy horse in the race. He'll go from the front, sit just off the leaders, and again I'm not 100% convinced that he's as good as a chaser than he's a hurdler. And I'm not one to question connections, but you've got to take a chance, don't you? And 3 from 3 in December, creditable effort last time out in what was basically a bumper race on the old road, wasn't it? But that form's worked out. That's all right. Gino's in it, wasn't he? It was boosted the form. But yeah, I just think I know that connections don't seem too bullish on his chances over hurdles, but if he is kind of put in the race and it's not just a pipe open, I think it could be far too classy. The other one that had a little bit of interest on was Glorious Zoff. 16-1 Fergal O'Brien. Now he was third in the elite hurdle at Wincanton, the Grade 2 last time out. Not really put into the race, beaten 9 lengths, but that's the forms worked out with Hansard in second. Won the Betfair next time out, Betfair hurdle. So there is a little chance that I think Glorious Soft could come into it from the rear as well. So I'll play that one each way and go for Tommy's Oscar.
Okay, so Glorious Off is 16-1 currently. Tommy's Oscar 7-1. Then back over this course and distance he's previously won it for Matty. Dave.
Yeah, this is a bit of a mad race, I think. There's some good horses in here. I've got to give a mention to Soaring Glory because I still think he'll win the Betfair hurdle. So please don't win on Saturday. But he ran quite well a couple of weeks ago when he ran, to be fair to him at the trip. I think he's dangerous off this mark. Like, it's almost to the point where you can't hide him. He might just win a race. So give him a mention. I won't be betting him, but just in case anybody else wants to have a little poke on him, fingers crossed he gets beat though and gets dropped a couple of pounds and we'll smash him up in the Betfair hurdle. But for this race, right, I'm a little bit disappointed with the jockey booking, and I mean that with the greatest of respect, because I was tempted to have a chunky bet on Rare Edition, but Bradley Roberts is on board for Charlie Longsdon, and I wonder if this is just a run and then they might send this horse over fences. So I think this horse has got substance to his form, and I think he's got margin off of his mark of 136. I like to go back years and years and years. It's not that far back, but Boxing Day last year, he beat Rebode at Kempton in a decent novice hurdle, beaten by 7 lengths. We know what that horse has gone on to do. He was behind Marble Sands after, which as much as I don't I don't know. I don't say it's the strongest form in the world. He's rated 136. Marble Sands is probably a 140 horse, so I don't think that's too bad. Then he was chucked in the Supreme behind Marine National. I get to name drop that, but he was pulled up. And then he ran behind In the Pocket in the Grade 1 Aintree. I mean, 40 lengths behind that one too. But this is much calmer waters now. Like I said, I wonder if the jockey booking is a little bit of a negative. Stopped me really wanting to steam in, but I think he's 13-2. There's places up for grabs on this one. I just think this horse is much better than 136. So it could be that this is a prep or they're going to go over the fences next time out, but I don't want to miss the chance to bet Rare Edition. So it will be an each way bet. It wouldn't be as strong if you had I don't want to be rude, but like a proper jock on rather than a claimer. But Rare Edition will be the selection for the 240.
Rare Edition currently 6-1 shot to each way plus very so bet MGM 1, 2, 3, 4 fifth of the odds there, so like it a lot. I know that he was what we thought was going to be a leading British hope for the Supreme about this time last year, so that didn't quite work out well, but in a handicap now, who knows what he's capable of. Right, staying novice hurdlers now at Cheltenham in the form of the Grade 2 Albert Bartlett novices hurdle for 4-year-olds and over 3 miles at 3 o'clock, otherwise known as the Bristol Hurdle, of course. So plenty of horses who could still be anything, Dave, but who wins it?
Shanagh Bob wins it. Can probably just leave it at that, to be fair. I can't believe, I think he's 7-4 top price time recording. I think that's a stupidly big price. But I think I think he's just probably much better than these. A lot of them were quite unexposed, but there are a few horses who are more exposed, and I think that everything else in this field at a maximum, especially for this season, might be able to get into the 130s, whereas this Shanagh Bob probably could do that tomorrow or do that on Saturday, win this race, but probably is 140s-ish plus. So Destroy the Evidence, much as he's been comfortable winner in his handicaps, was behind Butch prior when he ran in a proper race. There's form lines through Butch to City Derby, who's not much of a horse, so I think it's a stretch to say that horse is beyond like 130s. Illico de Cotte should improve for his debut. Was beaten off 121 with a £5 claim of the horse that beat him, so I don't think that looks so good, but that horse went back for 2 miles, didn't it? Cadell and Kerry Hill were closely matched last time out, but again, I don't think either of them in terms of form means they're any better than like a 130-ish, so it is a Grade 2, right? We might say that there's been weak divisions over here, but I think the Shanagh Bob is a potential beast, and I do like a staying novice handler as well. In his point-to-point, right, he bolted up, beat a horse called Gorgeous Tom. In Ireland, it's quite easy to hide in the maidens because they've got lots of good horses, but his 2 maidens he ran against, bearing in mind they'd know who they were going up against, he was behind Slade Steel and he was behind Caldwell Potter. So as much as he's beat a bit of a distance, he's going in against proper horses. The third in his point won the next, was a previous point winner, so there's substance to the point form. And the fourth won his point really well the time after. I thought Shanagh Bob's debut was pretty good. He was sent off 2-9. He beat 113 rated horse who's fairly exposed. We didn't really have to beat much, but that horse sort of travelled with him to 2 out, and then Shanagh Bob just went. And it went in the style of a horse that was like literally stones better than that horse. So I think he's pretty good. The downside worries me a tiny bit. I do like to look into my breeding. You would say that he's middle to maybe like a 2 mile 6 type horse on the downside, but he is by Marla. So Chris's Dream, the Real Whacker, the Big Dog, Marla's Mission in there. They would all confirm that the trip won't be an issue. I genuinely think 2-1 about him is a stupid price. I would imagine by the time this goes out, he'll be short. I think he wins. I think he wins well.
Oh, I like it a lot. Yeah, 7-4, Shanagh Bob at the head of the market. And for all that, you could probably doubt that form because it is just punting and he won as a 2-9 shot. Like say, the visual impression he left with the connections as well means that you probably are getting a pretty feasible price then about him. So Shanagh Bob then for Dave Matty. Who did you like?
Yeah, it's a bit of a non-event, isn't it? I mean, Shanagh Bob could just be very classy, win head and chest. But the thing is with him last time out was like it clearly didn't suit Plumpton at all. I think it was off the bridle quite a long way out. I know he put quite a bit of distance between him and the second, but the second was only rated 113, and it's like it's not what you'd think is a Grade 2 winning form, is it really? But it just could be a completely different animal and win head and chest. Yeah, it just I liked Kerry Hill a little bit. I thought his debut was really over hurdles was impressive. Beat Cadell there by 3 1/4 lengths. I know that it was in receipt of £7, but that was first time up, whereas the winner had a benefit of a run. So I'd expect that form to be upheld. £155,000 buy as well. Bred for 3 miles, worked to Boy Chuck and Golden Chieftain. Golden Chieftain is actually, I think, 7th in this race in 2013, one favourite for it as well. And in 2010, sorry. But yeah, just Shanagh Bob will probably, he could just win head and chest. But if you had to give me one each way, I'll go Kerry Hill.
Okay, the each way then 10-1 about Kerry Hill in here, but again, Matty's not willing to put you off of Shanagh Bob, who could still be absolutely anything at this stage, and hopefully we will get to see that then on Saturday. Now, Doncaster's last race is a 0-150 handicap chase for 4-year-olds and over 3 miles at 3:15. Drum roll, please, because Mr. Coffee is here again, still trying to win for the first time over fences, and now the 11th time of asking. He is currently the 11-2 market leader. So, Matty, are you trusting him to finally get the job done here?
Absolutely not. No, not a hoping chance. I'm going to go with Forward Plan, who I've backed for the column. You'll find this much easier than the Group 3 Badger Beer last time out. £7 out of the weight. Ran well, jumped to third last and second, weakened into sixth. But that was, I think, a combination of, being from £7 out of the weights and doing far too much too soon. But the form's worked out. Gustavian was in sixth, has come out and finished second to Richmond Late last time out in those desperate conditions last weekend. And certainly Red was in fourth, was beaten 4 lengths in London National. So, and again, he's been beaten, twice off 125 this mark. But the form was Kelso third from last time out, worked out well. Half Shot and Elvis Mail have both gone in since. And Anthony Honeyball doesn't send too many runners to Doncaster either. He's 1 from 1 with handicap chases here over the last 5 seasons, and the ground should suit him more than most. Now, I know I've tipped up once again another favourite, but I think he does go in.
Okay, 11-2. To be fair, BetMGM, he is currently joint second favourite now. Just refreshed the page with Mr. Coffee and Whistle in the Dark. It's currently the 5-1 market leader, has been really well back there, actually. Dave, who did you like?
Oh, I mean, this is definitely one of the races. It's a proper Saturday race, isn't it? I think if you ran this 10 or 11 times, you probably could get 10 or 11 different winners.
Yeah.
I don't really want to pin my colours to any mast. As soon as I start looking at any horse, I find lines of form with something else in the race, like Sail Away and Forward Plan. I think Sail Away's run at Newbury was actually okay, but the horse needs to get an unpestered lead in here, and we've got the pest that is Mr. Coffee in there. I suspect if he gets backed, because he was a big drifter at Cheltenham the last day, if there's money to support him, you'll see a better run than Cheltenham. So fully put a line through that. But I feel like at the moment, until Mr. Coffee retires, you're better just to leave some of the races alone like this, where he's running in, if you don't have a strong opinion on one. So I can make too many cases for too many, so we'll just trust Matty on this one.
Okay, we'll go with Matty then. Yeah, Mr. Coffee, the proverbial spanner in the works, and whenever he turns up in any races, to be honest. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. And he's a horse that I think we're all growing just to love, because he's such a character of a horse and we feel like we know him so well. Right, we sign off this section of the show with a mare's handicap hurdle for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 4 at 3:35. A really good looking renewal of this race, I thought, where Bonte heads the betting at 3-1. So Dave, many likeable mares in here. So who comes out on top?
Well, Lucia, as I mentioned before we started recording, was in here. She was the anti-purse favourite, but I think she's going to run at Ascot next weekend. I'm pretty sure she will. So I just didn't look at the race, because I was just almost praying she didn't run, because I didn't want to steam into it because she was already too short. When I've redone the race after, there's an absolute handicap blot in this race in Nurse Susan. She is so much better than 125. She's 6-1 at the time of recording. And I don't want to be like rude to the girls division, but lots of horses will get their marks in handicaps running against the girls. And I don't trust it so much, because if they're running in handicaps against the boys, typically if they were running outside of that company, they'd get like a £7 allowance. I feel like it has a bit more substance to it. Admittedly, this is still a mares only race, so the numbers can still stitch up with it. But let's go back a few years, like I like to do with all the horses. Nostalgic Dave, they should call me. This horse was sent off 13-8 favourite in the Winter Novice Mares Hurdle against Love Envoy, was only 2.5 lengths behind her. She's just been second in a fight in fifth when Matty tipped up Not So Sleepy. That she sort of franked that form after, to be fair. The Mares Hurdle race at Cheltenham, she was fourth, right? So fourth in a festival race. The horses that were behind her in there, as much as she was a bit further behind Love Envoy, you had Impervious behind that went and won the Mare's Chase after. You had Dino Blue that was second in the Grand Annual after. So she, as much as she didn't win the race, she's beaten a load of proper horses. Now, they probably had different journeys since then, because she hadn't been seen for 613 days. So she obviously had a setback after Cheltenham, or who knows, she may have had it in the race and she could have finished closer up. They shoved her in a novice chase race for mares, like very niche type of race, and she was beaten out of sight. She was sent off joint favourite, but it's a classic one of the Skeltons where supposedly they're ready first time up. She was off a long break. She obviously wasn't ready. There's a horse, Mayhem Mia, or Mayhem Maya, that finished second that day, and she's been well behind Nurse Susan before. She was 150-1 in the mares novice, that Mayhem Maya, and she was beaten out of sight by Nurse Susan. So I don't trust that was as good as their effort. Handicap has dropped her £2 for that. Like, I don't even know what he's doing, because surely he must have looked at that and thought she probably was entitled to need the run. Anyway, that's £2 further in our favour. I would be flabbergasted, especially in this sphere running against the girls, if she wasn't capable of being like a 140s mare minimum. I know it's a loose line using another horse, but Love Envoy is definitely a 150s mare. She's proven that. So I think she's fine. So she's clearly had her issues. Like I say, it may have been sustained at Cheltenham. They tried that fences run. I feel like they've just done that to get the handicap mark down because it was nice and easy. This is the first time she's running in a handicap. I think I've got to trust that they've resolved the issues, right? Like I say, she's had the long layoff, she's had a run, but she's having a relatively quick turnaround for a horse that had 600 days off before. The step up in trip as well is absolutely ideal. I think she was entitled to need that run. I feel like she just romps home. If they fixed what was ever wrong with her, she is the biggest handicap blot of the entire festive period. So Nurse Susan should be a good thing in the mare's handicap hurdle, but obviously it's always with like a pinch of salt in the fact that if a horse has had a niggle, they could continue to have that. We need to obviously see some substance. But by the time she bolts up on Saturday, her mark will be blown up, she'll be widely exposed, and everyone will be queuing up to get on her for the Coral Cup in March.
Bullish as you like for Nurse Susan then. Yeah, the BetMGM traders, they're being very wise because they are dodging her as well. They've actually got her in a second favourite currently, so I think they're thinking along the same lines as you, Dave. 9-2. I'm still laughing at nostalgic Dave. You've heard of Mystic Meg, now you've got nostalgic Dave. It's name a horse after that. It's a great name. Right, Matty, you've got company in the background there, but more importantly, you win some mares handicap hurdles.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm in complete agreement with Dave. I think she's absolutely just chucked in, isn't she? Absolutely chucked in. I did try and go with Bonte, but again, she's into favouritism. If I chuck another favourite up, I'll be never seeing the show again. So I can't go with her. For all she did it impressively last time out against the track she absolutely hated. But no Susan. And if you remember a couple of weeks back when Get a Tonic won for the Skeltons from the front, she was beaten. She was tailed off all fences last of the time before, back over hurdles from the front, pinged every hurdle, and won like a good thing. And I can just see they've done the similar thing. They've gone over fences, and she was entitled to weaken out of things behind Arclight, wasn't it? But again, yeah, she dropped a pound. She's off 125. It's like Love Envoy's rated 151. It's like she is completely chucked in, and even if she's anywhere near back to that form, she'll win this causally.
Oh, win this cozily then. The pair of you two, bullish as you like with Nurse Susan. Oh God, I don't want to give my selection now because it's not Nurse Susan. Oh, I really like the price that Wind to the Lightning opened up at, but has actually been shortened up. And again, our pesky BetMGM traders have done that as well. 13-2 Wind to the Lightning is what I can get on her. Now, I found this race just a brilliant nightmare. Again, oxymoron that we're talking here. I've struggled to split them so much, but I really, really like Wind to the Lightning. Of course, for Ollie Bruno and Josh Guerrieri. So progressive last season, winning 3 of her 5 hurdle starts. The only defeats coming on her hurdle debut, and then at Cheltenham in April in the mare's final handicap hurdle, and she was still only beaten a length and a half. But last time out, again, a much improved effort from her at Wetherby on her reappearance. She took on the boys, won in a canter. She's been whacked up £12 for that, so not ideal. But I really think she's smart. She's going to have to be taking on this caliber of mare. But she has Cheltenham form, remains progressive, and I still think she's one to keep on side. But Nurse Susan, though, the lads are bullish with our final contest in that part of the show. Right, Dave, you've got something for us from somewhere else this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, I feel like I just needed to mention it. I love this one. Like, it's El Fabiolo's got I think it's like a cousin, so it's not his mum, it's his grandma's, the same sort of line. El Fabian runs in the 4-year-old fillies flat race, the bumper, the last race at Fairy House on Saturday. Doesn't look the deepest of races, to be fair. She was beaten in her point, but obviously being El Fabiolo related with Munir Suede and Woody Mullins, looks like she could potentially be quite a good talent. So we'll see how she goes on Saturday. I'm just excited. I love these ones that have got similar pedigrees. You've seen it now, haven't we, with John Bon finally fulfilling his potential, being Duvan's brother. They're hard boots to fill, but hopefully little El Fabian can do something special on Saturday.
Great name, isn't it, as well? I love that so much. So yeah, definitely look out for her. Right, now normally at this point of the show we have our Cheltenham chat, but we're going to mix it up a little bit this week because we're going to change it to Christmas chat. So over the festive period, of course, we have loads of races to go at. So Matty, I'll throw this to you, please. Any sort of anti-post plays at this stage over Christmas?
Yeah, one for the Welsh national in Eldorado Allen, 50-1. Now I know Connections have toyed with the idea of sending him here, and if he does, I think he'll go for a fair few points shorter. And look, he'll be racing off top weight, but I think it was an elegant escape for the Tizzards in 2013. Won the race, of course, off 11.8, carrying third top weight, so it can be done. Tizzards have done it before. And look, he was so eye-catching over in the Gold Cup, not the Gold Cup, so against That's Alright Gin last time out. Stayed on really well, and I think he's got a lot of back class. At this point in his career, he needs a trip like this, you know what I mean? He's kind of lost the gear for a truly run top graded 1-3 miles. But he's got so much back class to his name, and he's staying on he stays on all the time in his races. He's a half brother as well to a winner of the 4 miles at Punchestown Banksman, sorry, in Alvanat as well. So there is stamina in the pedigree for a trip like this, and if he does go, it'll be a lot shorter, 50-1. It's a very good each way bet in my opinion.
Like it a lot, 50-1. Yeah, just such a likeable, consistent horse. He never seems to get the credit that he deserves as Eldorado Allen. 50-1 for the Welsh national for Matty. Dave.
Well, I mean, I will definitely keep this concise so I could talk about every single race that's about to come up. Because this is the last weekend watch for the year, we won't be back until the new year. I do just want to quickly touch on Ascot next weekend. There's some good race in there. I've already mentioned her, but Lucia, if Nicky Henderson runs her in this Betfair Exchange Trophy, he's got the likes of Iberico Lord in there. He's got Dodie the Great that won last time off of a significant layoff. Impostoire's even got an entry, but she's a 2-miler. I think she's got a proper chance if she goes to Ascot. She's currently 16th at the time of recording. I probably wouldn't take the punt with her anti-post because the price will probably still be there if she just gets confirmed. But like if Lucia runs in that handicap hurdle, she will pay for Christmas, I'm hoping. There are a couple of races in Ireland that we've got to quickly touch on as well. The Future Champion Novices Hurdle, which comes on the 27th of December. There's a horse called Daddy Longlegs for Willie Mullins, who I don't think will be his best novice come the end of the season. But this time of year, when Mirazor West will be in a maiden hurdle, this horse will win the Grade 1 at Christmas. I think he's about 4 or 5 to 1 at the time of recording. I think the likes of Ballyburn, who was beaten first time up, will just go and win a maiden hurdle. I think he's going to be able to pick up a weak Grade 1 here. So Daddy Longlegs wins the Future Champion Novices Hurdle. Then everyone will get excited from the Supreme, then his bubble will burst in March, but never mind. We'll get on for Christmas. In the, I think it's the, the Neville's Hotel Novices Chase, the 3-mile one. Matty touched on this horse earlier. Florin Porter is going potentially back left-handed. We remember him winning the Jack de Bromhead Christmas hurdle over 3 miles as a hurdler. He's a force to be reckoned with when he's going the right way round, and the right way round for him is left-handed. If he runs at Christmas, he will beat every single one of those horses. He's about 6 to 1 at the time of recording. So again, I'd wait to see if he declared, but he will win the Neville's Hotel Novice Chase before he goes on to win the Brown Advisory. And I would love to talk about the King George, but we don't even know what's happening now. A week ago, we thought there was only going to be 2 or 3 runners. Now there's rumours that Allaho's going to come over. Jerry Colom's doing a piece of work on Friday to see if he comes over. It does look exciting, but I couldn't give you a bet in there. But that does look like it's going to be one of the greatest renewals in recent years. I'm hoping that if Willie's bringing Allaho over, he might just send Gaelic Warrior on the boat and send him round Kempton in the Felton, because I think that's the 2024 King George winner. But no one will price me up on that one. So BetMGM, if you want to, give me a price for Gaelic Warrior for next year's King George.
Oh, get a sighter at the track then, hopefully this year as well for Gaelic Warrior, aka Gary is his nickname, just for random reference. But like that a lot that I know. But King George could be absolutely anything at this stage, and hopefully, because we kind of feel like we need it to get a proper vintage renewal. So much to look forward to. Right, but more importantly, the near future, what we've got to look forward to. Matty, what's your nap this weekend?
Well, I'll let Dave have Nurse Susan, and I'll go with forward plan.
Perfect. Dave, no pressure, but you better be going Nurse Susan.
100% I'll go Nurse Susan. Shanagh Bob would be the one that I think is an obvious one, but there's question marks about him too. There's question marks about Nurse Susan, but she's a 6 to 1 poke, and I have less of a question about her. She's definitely well in. Nurse Susan bolts up. Nap of the weekend.
Oh, like it a lot. And I'm going to go Il Ridoto then in the 150 at Cheltenham in the December Gold Cup. So they are all of our naps. And that is our final show until the 4th of January. We're taking a couple of weeks break now over the Christmas period. So we won't be talking to you then. The lads are both shaking their heads in the background. They want to be here talking to you, trying to find you winners. But a big thank you to Dave and to Matty for all of their hard work as per usual on this week's show. A big thank you to our sponsors, BetMGM. A big thank you to you for watching. Enjoy the Christmas period. Happy New Year to you, and we'll speak to you again in 2024.